Welcome to Slow Home. Too many people live in badly designed houses, and we want to change that.
This is day 128 of the Slow Home Project, and we need you to join us in our quest to evaluate the design quality of houses in 9 North American cities in 9 months. This week we are analyzing apartment lofts in Miami, and today we are going to be doing an in-detail review of the organization question on the Slow Home test.
So you'll remember that the organization question has a prompt with it, and it says that a slow home is organized so that like spaces are grouped together with minimal circulation, and all principal rooms have a good connection to the outdoors.
That's right. And so what I've done is assembled a few examples of what I consider to be good organization and bad organization within apartment lofts. And of course, each housing type has different things that you look at and different challenges, particularly with organization, lot size and the such. And the apartment lofts are interesting because I think there's really 3 things to focus on, or that I've decided to focus on. One is proportion of the unit itself, which has to do with the amount of windows and how one has access to outside. The second has to do with circulation, the amount of space used for circulation, how you move around and through. And then the last one is a kind of thing from right field, which has to do with something we found in Miami, which is some units that have very peculiar and eccentric geometries as a result of the outside shape of the building, which I think has to do with trying to catch somebody's attention on the skyline where there's a lot of condominium towers.
And then they have to force the plan into
That's
it.
right. Yeah. So to have a look at that. So let's just get started, and I'll show you, here's an example of what I think is verging on bad proportions. It's long this way, and it's an okay width, but it's getting a bit long. And if you think about Toronto and some of those other denser places where those units were getting really long and narrow, we had a worse problem. But we are finding that this unit, particularly the kitchen, is a long way away from that. From the windows. Even the dining room is getting a long way away. What's good about it is that they're putting the services back here in that back area, but this primary living space is right out and too far away.
So the concern is it's not going to get any daylight.
That's right.
Because of its
too
distance
far
away from the windows.
From the windows. We see in this example it's even worse. Because now we've got actually something where we've got this so-called den space, which is actually falsely labeled because it doesn't have any windows. It's not really a den. It's a kind of extended front entry. But this is a situation where that's a fair bit of space in proportion to the whole overall unit, and yet it's almost just about as big as the master bedroom, and yet it's not a nice space.
No,
it's too far away. It's going to be dark. It's just this unit really is just too long.
Long, narrow units that aren't corners are typically a problem.
That's right. And here we see a unit where we've got well, first of all, it's a corner all the way around, which is great, but it doesn't really need to be. What it is it's much shallower and longer this way. So you come in, and we've got then a relatively short distance. So from this front edge of glass, we've got a principal room, a principal room, and a principal room, and the outside terrace. All of them working around that. So this actually would work just as well
if it was
as an
a solid
interior
wall.
unit. It doesn't have to have the windows on the outside in order for it to work. So this is an example of good proportion of the outside unit. This is another example, I think, of a good proportion, particularly as we come to this. And we can see that we've got principal rooms that are there. This is getting a little bit long again. But what's also important about this is while it's good proportion, it actually is bad circulation. And it takes us into the second because we've got an awful lot of floor space here devoted to circulation.
The hallway, because they've got to get into that room.
That's right.
And the other big issue, I think, is the fact that the dining table, because to make the dining room fit, it has to be in front of that hallway space.
That's right. It's right in front.
So
that's not good.
No.
So now let's have a look at some other bad circulation problems. Here we've got one where the entrance is here, and we actually have all of this space devoted to circulation. It's a long walk to get to the living space. You walk past the kitchen. Here it's you go into the it's quick, but that's a lot of space in a small unit, and it's interesting because the proportion of this unit is quite good.
Because what you'd like to see is that space reallocated to the living space, which I think is too small.
It's way
in scale.
too small.
It's smaller than the bedroom space.
That's right. And this space is too narrow. It's only a hallway. There's no way that you can do anything in that, and yet it's on the outside of the building. I think that's really unfortunate. This is an example, I think, of much more efficient circulation. It's a bigger unit, and yet it's got less floor space. What I like about it is that there's this central foyer,
Yeah,
which
that's nice to come
serves
into.
as an entrance, but
Yeah.
it's also a kind of jumping off point that you can go this way into the living space, you go this way into the master bedroom, and then a very short little hallway that takes you into the bathroom and the other bedrooms.
Right.
I think it's nicely zoned, and I think it's very, very efficient
That is good.
and quite effective.
Yeah.
Here's an example of a house with minimal amount of
Right.
circulation. We've got the entry door coming in, and we've got a zone here that is
Yep.
open to the kitchen, so it makes the kitchen
Yep.
open. I think there's a problem with the entry, but
Right.
that's another thing to talk about. But really, there's just that little bit of space.
Right. I think that's efficient because a lot of times in these units too, you'll see the access to the bedroom right on the wall of the living room.
That's right.
Which is a problem. So it's better to come into that little alcove and then into the bedroom and the
We're going to
bathroom.
go there in just a minute, because
Okay.
what I like about this is it also is an effective way to have one bathroom and one bedroom where the bathroom works for both
Guests
the
and
guests
as an ensuite.
because you've got a kind of that. So that actually is a pretty important little piece, and the fact that the washer dryer is there is also a good thing. So
Right.
getting on with this notion of the doors, the location of the door is another circulation issue.
Right.
Because if you look at this door is too close to the windows
Yeah.
in the living room.
Yeah.
Coming down through doing this really makes this a difficult space to
Yeah, well, you've got
furnish.
your sofa in there plus your dining table, and where's your feature wall going to be? Because you've chopped up that one wall with the doorway.
That's right. It would be much more effective to have the door up
Absolutely,
there,
and then
because
you have a
you
natural
full-
place for your furniture.
That's right.
Yeah,
Because it's actually not a bad room. It's not got lots of light and all of the rest.
That's
but
actually a really good
the
point,
location of that door is really bad.
because that easily could have been done, and they easily could have fit the closet the other way.
That's
Yeah.
right, I think. So, and now this is an example of how to do it, a good way of doing that.
Right.
You've got two doors here. They line up.
Yeah.
They're actually far enough back. They're actually in the middle so that they define a dining room space and a living room space
Right.
on either side, which I think is pretty nice.
That is nice.
Final thing, eccentric edges. And
Oh dear.
yeah, and I don't want to spend a lot of time other than to
No.
just say, watch out.
Yeah.
You know, when you start to see stuff like this, I mean, let's just look at this bedroom. We've got a door there, we've got a door there, we've got a door there,
Yeah.
we've got this angle, and we've got this. Where exactly are you going to put a bed
Yeah,
in that?
it's all doorways.
We've got a bathroom, we've got another bathroom, we've got closets all on the outside wall.
Yeah.
It just makes it
The,
very
the
difficult.
living dining space is crazy. I
Yes.
mean, that's really...
It is,
Because
and
they've got windows on the sides and
on
then
the
that
side.
big, thick structural
and it's
wall.
so the proportion of this room is off, and then this kitchen with that internal
Triangular
diagonal
corner.
and an oddly placed.
Right.
Now, it's just not.
So this is where the architectural design is overpowering the
That's
possibilities
right.
for the floor plan.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we see that in the it taken to a
Oh, dear.
huge degree here,
Yeah.
where the shape of the building, and I'm sure it's a very striking building, but
Yeah.
when you look and see what the impact that it has, look at all of the circulation
It's almost impossible
that
to
we've got.
fit a floor plan into this
What
shape.
do you do with that amount of space other than
Yeah.
stand there and have a cigarette and look at the view?
Yeah.
The terraces are too
Narrow,
narrow
and
to
they get
really
narrow
use,
at the point.
and they get narrower at the point. And then
Yeah.
we've got these really strangely shaped rooms
Yeah.
that are going to be very difficult to furnish.
Right.
So you have to be very careful about that. Well done, an eccentric geometry can be fabulous.
Right.
But you have to be really sure that the organization is right.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's my thoughts about organization, and what I'd like everybody to do is go into the Slow Home project, search around through the listings, find a project with either good organization or bad organization, some element that you want to talk about, post the plan to the site, and give a brief explanation so that we can try and round out our understanding of organization.
And I'd like to remind everybody that the What's Wrong with This House book that John and I wrote over the last year is available for sale on the right-hand side of the website. You can click onto our online store and order a copy. There's not very many left.
No.
So
We're going to have to be doing a second print
I
very
know
soon.
it's gone very well. So see you tomorrow.
Bye.